Hello everyone, this is Mike from Windows7Forums.com. I'm here to review Acronis Backup and Recovery Workstation, Advanced Workstation to be specific. I had contacted the media department for Acronis earlier today. Unfortunately, I tried to reach the head of Acronis marketing as well as several individuals in the department. I was hoping to be able to evaluate Acronis Advanced True Image Backup and Recovery Advanced Server. I was unable to receive any information from these people about obtaining a license, so I've decided to review the software myself. I am not going to review the server version yet. I am going to review the workstation version. I have experience using Acronis software. I often used Acronis Echo Server and Echo Workstation 9 for business solutions in my consulting practice as well as my information technology work. I have not used an Acronis product in some time after the release of Home 10, which I found to be a disastrous product inferior to Paragon. I would like to discuss with you some of my findings first on the website, and this will be a long demonstration, review, and video. So first on the website, we will go through some of the features that Acronis advertises to have. Now, every company out there promises the best when they try to deliver software. But let's see what kind of exaggerations we can find, what kind of facts we can find, and we're going to launch into the full product as soon as we do this. Now, if you look at this page, there is a mention here, and this is something that irks me quite a bit. First of all, there's a summer sale. Well, that sounds good, 20% off. But if we go to the main page, we see that Acronis Backup and Recovery 11 has just been released. It's a single solution for disaster recovery and data protection. Now, for Acronis's benefit, the software is not bad, it is full-featured, and most of the time, for most users, it will get the job done. But let's take a look at this software that was just released. When I go to learn about new features, and when I go down to awards, I am seeing awards from 2010. In fact, in order for Acronis to win this sort of obscure award from Web User Magazine in the United Kingdom, 30,000 people voted in an online survey in October and November 2010 to make this the software of the year for 2010. Now, there's a whole bunch of other awards down here as well, where they all won Software of the Year for 2010. And there are some problems with this. First of all, for Software of the Year, you would think that might be something like Visual Studio for the last 5 years or 10 years, since programs are written in C++. But to be fair, we know that Software of the Year means, okay, it's a good program, it should be used by most people. However, we're told that this is a brand new product. And we're going on the end of, we're in the middle of 2011, we're in July 2011, and we have reviews from October and November 2010. So no, this is not a brand new product, and when I go to the Acronis website, I'm told that it is. And this is a major problem for customers who are going to wind up paying, in some cases, thousands of dollars for this software, and I'm going to show you why. There are several different versions of this software. When we see Backup and Recovery 11, we're talking about an entire suite of software. Each one is designed for different types of businesses because the software is crippled by design, similar to Windows 7. Except when you buy Windows 7 Home Premium, you don't have to pay 10 times the price for Windows 7 Professional. Here, let's find out if we want Workstation, how much that's going to cost us. Well, Backup and Recovery 11 Workstation is $74 per license. If we look at a comparison And if we look at Advanced Workstation, that's $99 per license. Fair enough. It includes more features, data deduplication, and it has restored to dissimilar hardware. Now, if we go all the way, and we really want to see what we're talking about here, let's look at all products, okay? Because we have quite a few. We have Acronis Recovery for Microsoft Exchange, which is $1,219. We have Acronis Recovery for Microsoft Exchange Small Business Server Edition, which is $499. We have Acronis Recovery for Microsoft SQL, which is Structured Query Language Server, for $609. We have a Snap Deploy thing for deploying disk imaging technology for $25. And then the one for servers is 10 times more, again, $121. And then we have a disk director software, which is basically something like Partition Magic for $609. And I can see why the marketing department didn't want me to do a review on this stuff. It's extraordinarily expensive. Now, just say I wanted to buy the advanced server version of this software. We really wanted a license key to demonstrate the software. No way would we use it. It's not worth, in my opinion, that much money. But Acronis Backup and Recovery server for Windows is $853 for each license. And if we start going to the comparisons, and if we look at Advanced Server, which is the one we were looking at, that's $1,399 per license. Now, the key of Acronis Backup and Recovery 11 is that it allows you to back up multiple workstations and servers. And so that's what this software does. It also has data deduplication, which means that if you back up the same files, you just say you have 5 copies of Windows and you're backing up 5 different copies of Windows and they all have the exact same file names, you're only backupping those files once, so you're saving space on the backup media. But all around, we're being charged an enormous sum of money for backing up SQL Server, for Small Business Server. If you go to Paragon, and we've done reviews on Paragon before, but if you go to Paragon's list of utilities, and I can show you their Hard Disk Manager 2011, you are able to basically back up anything you want. There's no limitation as to whether it's a server or not. You're able to move partitions around. You don't have to buy a special partition software. If I want to change this to a GPD hard disk, I can. I can do pretty much anything here. I can clone this drive. I can wipe the hard disk. I can copy the entire hard disk. I can restore an image to the hard disk. I can back up. I can resize. I can restore. I can do just about anything except for the features that are in Acronis that involve virtualization. But when you look at the virtualization features that Acronis offers, the ability to create virtual machines and restore them to systems, well, that exists already. And in VMware Workstation, and they're saying that they're partnering with VMware and so forth to provide their services. But the reality, and centralized management, of course, but the reality is VMware has had ACE service for a while. If I want to turn my computer, this is the big thing about this is they advertise you can turn your computer into a virtual machine. If I want to do that, I go to VMware Workstation, which pretty much everyone has. If you don't have that, you have EXI or whatever. You have the hypervisor. And you'll see me loading up here some of my virtual machines. I go to import or export, and the converter will load up. And just waiting for that converter here. And guess what? I can choose a source for conversion, my physical computer, a remote computer on the network, a virtual appliance. I can turn pretty much anything into a virtual machine with the software that I already bought. And I can back things up. I can clone Windows if I want. If I want to clone Windows, I can. I just hit the clone button. And the same feature set pretty much exists in every version of VMware's products for the advanced products. So this is geared towards thousands of computers and stuff, but the $1,800 price tag is ridiculous. Now, when we talk about real backups, we talk about backup, bare metal backup and restore. And bare metal backup and restore involves turning the computer off, turning Windows off, loading from a disk, a CD or a DVD, and backing up all your stuff while Windows is turned off. The reason that you want to do this is because it gives you a more reliable, complete backup of the entire hard drive. Acronis claims that you never have to do that, and that with this software you never have to worry about it. Now, both companies, Paragon and Acronis, have worked very hard to make that possible. Basically, they're using the volume shadow copy service that is integrated into Windows, but they're also using additional technology to make that possible. However, Acronis goes so far as to claim on their website that it's actually better not to do a bare metal backup. And the reason for that apparently is time. Well, those of us who know about time know that what's more important than saving time is saving your files, especially if they're worth millions of dollars. So this is a major problem with this sort of marketing schema. Now, when we look at Acronis Backup and Recovery online, you know what? We're looking at, for Workstation, we get a yearly subscription, 250 gigabytes for $50, 1 terabyte for $500, and a virtual machine, 2 terabytes for $1,200. If I want to make an image copy of my entire operating system and my entire hard drive, I can make that image file. I can buy a subscription to a service called Carbonite, and we'll go to carbonite.com right here. And I can buy for $59 a year unlimited backups. Unlimited. So there's no, they're not even in the range of competing. Now, I can guarantee you, because I've worked with this software before and with these people before, that when they see that you might be interested in buying a product or upgrading one of their products, they never stop calling you. They want to sell you a $2,000 product when you don't need one. And this is something that irks me very much. But we're going to go ahead and try the Workstation and see exactly how important the Workstation is and what it does for you. Personally, I stay away from these products because they're extremely overpriced. The home version is extremely limited in its capabilities. With the Echo software that they used to have, version 9, the software wasn't as limited. There weren't these weird partnerships where they're releasing software with VMware where you can already do stuff with VMware anyway. The one thing that I do see is that you can deploy backup images to the cloud, Amazon, Elastic Cloud, and things like that. That's one thing I understand. That's good. Online backup, no way. This whole idea that you need recovery from Microsoft Exchange is absolute nonsense, or Exchange Small Business Server. Usually when you back up a server, you want to back up the entire thing with a full backup, additional incremental backups, and then switching back to a full backup again every once in a while. You do not play this game where you back up Exchange and you pay $1,000 to back up Exchange, or you pay, $1,000 to back up Small Business Server. With Paragon and with their simple solution that costs less than $100, you can back up anything on any computer, whether it's running a server operating system or a client operating system, whether it's running Windows 7 or Windows 95, whether it's running Windows 2008 Server R2 or whether it's running Windows NT 4. So there's a major problem with this type of business model for people who know what they're doing. And Acronis is so bold that they go ahead and they claim, oh, this is one of the only backup softwares that can back up in Linux. Well, that's not true. The fact is, this is one of the only commercial backup software platforms that can run in Linux. But Paragon can back up the ext2 file system. It can back up any operating system out there. And this is just nonsense. And they're charging extra for the Linux support, which is, it's crazy. They all have bare metal restore, thank God. And they all have image backup. Without that, the product would be absolutely useless. And restore to dissimilar hardware. Nearly every backup and recovery product has something like that. Of course, they make it optional on their individual options. The remote and centralized management is the key to this software. This is what makes the software awesome. And we're going to check that out. And we're going to link up a bunch of computers and back them all up and see what happens. But overall, they're charging for virtual machines, per host. They're charging, unlimited if you buy the special virtual edition. How much is the virtual edition again? Oh, right. It's $1,799. So, unless you have deep pockets, you're better off hiring human beings. You don't need this software instead of a human being that knows what they're doing. That's one thing that's absolutely the case. For the data deduplication, that's another $539 per license. You know what? For $539, you can go out and buy 100 terabytes worth of disk space or something extra. You don't need the data deduplication at that point. I mean, we're really getting crazy here with this, and I understand it's for enterprise environments, 150 to 200 or more computers, but this is a massive tax write-off if it's anything. I don't know what the hell you would use this for off the cuff, but we'll actually evaluate the software. We won't judge it just by its crazy website, and we'll evaluate the software as well. I only wish we could have evaluated the enterprise server and gotten a license for that. They do have the trial for enterprise server, but there's so many features in it that it would have required an evaluation license for more than 15 days. They weren't even willing to get on the phone with me. I'm a Microsoft MVP. I am a Microsoft Information Technology Professional, Microsoft Technology Specialist, Microsoft Certified Systems Administrator, CompTIA Network Plus certified, and CompTIA A Plus certified. So I wonder why they wouldn't want to talk to someone like me about these allegations that it's the fastest possible recovery time. It's not just the best software, it's also the fastest. And this is where you get into a dangerous area, because the speed of your backup and the reliability of your backup depend on different things. Now, reliability depends on the ability for the software, if Windows is running, to make that backup a valid backup, because you can have locked files, you can have things going on while the backup is taking place, and that's why professionals prefer a offline bare metal backup and bare metal restore. But this is the fastest possible. Now, when we talk about the fastest possible, we're talking about, well, what kind of backup media are we using? Are we using USB 2? How much space are we using? Do we have 100 terabytes worth of data? Do we have 1 terabyte worth of data? Do we have a gigabyte worth of data? Do we have 100 megabytes worth of data? Are we using external serial ATA, which is as if you had a hard drive connected into your computer, just outside of it? Or are we talking about USB 3? So when they say that this is the fastest, hopefully they're talking about the programming. But they don't go into the deduplication costing $600 more, and this starts to get really scary when you start looking at it. I'm sad to say. And this is just the virtualization version, you know. If you want to bankrupt yourself, in my opinion, you can go ahead. But let's go ahead and try out Acronis Backup and Recovery 11 Workstation Edition. Okay, so we're going to get Acronis Backup and Recovery 11 Advanced Workstation at 7.1 megabytes. You'll see that most of them are, because they're pretty much locked. The feature set is locked. Advanced Server, SBS Edition. There's just a check within Workstation, most likely, to make sure that you're not using server. But we're going to go ahead and try Advanced Workstation. Let's go ahead and download it. After all, we can try these products before we buy them. We are now in the process of downloading Acronis Advanced Server Workstation 11. This is the trial version. It is 1.16 gigabytes for the full version. As you can see, we're in Windows XP under VMware Workstation. We have evaluation copies of XP. They're easier to launch right now than to launch copies of 7. But pretty much we're dealing with the same stuff when it comes to this type of software. We've got our main XP system. We have Clone 1, Clone 2, and Clone 3. We're going to see how this software works and how we can use it to back up our data. Well, our download is complete. Let's get started, shall we? What I need to do is run the software. I have a lot of operating systems running in the background right now, all from the same standard hard drive here, not solid state, unfortunately. That may actually impact the speed of the backup. Maybe data deduplication will help. Okay, so there are no updates available for the software. It checks for updates on the installer here. Let's go ahead and install Acronis Backup and Recovery 11. This is the full product. Of course, we have the license terms. We go to next. Now, what do we want to use this machine for? Do we want to back up this machine's data? Do we want to centrally monitor and configure the backing up of physical and virtual machines? Do we want to store the backups of other machines on this machine? And do we want to connect to remote machines? I would say we want to do all of those things from our main system here. This is our hub. And we need to enter our temporary license key. Alright, just give me 1 sec to enter my secret license key here. Yep, I'm afraid I've entered my secret license key. I'm going to unblock from Windows Firewall here. And it looks like I need a password for the management server. I'll enter my little password here for Clone 0, my machine. Huh? Wait a second. Well, I don't know why it's not accepting my password. There is no password, that's why this machine doesn't have a password yet. Oops. We'll do that later. Customer experience program. This is going to give us all anonymous data to them to improve the product. Oh, yes. We definitely need to do that. Alright, so look at all this stuff we're going to install, boy. You're definitely getting your money's worth here. When it gets to the server version, though, $100 worth $1,000. I don't know. Here we go. We'll wait till all this stuff is done downloading. The installation of this mega pack has completed. We're going to finish, and we're going to launch the management console. And we'll want to close the installer here. Now we have the management console. As you can see, we have the cloned machine here. And we're going to want to launch our other machines again, resume them from hibernation. Now in a real world scenario, we'd be dealing with real computers, obviously. Well, this is a management server. Let's see if we can connect to a remote machine without the software being installed. Highly doubt it. Not a chance. So what do we need to actually get this thing on here? Well, this is a management server. The fact that it can't deploy over a network is a bit concerning, isn't it? We'll run the full suite. Oh, and this is the full suite. Oh dear. Well, there's no big indication of what we need to do next, is there? I guess we have to install this product on every single machine. That's really what we have to do. This is the management console. This is the management server. And this is going to require that we install Acronis Backup and Recovery 11 on every single machine. If I go to install Acronis components, we have all of them. We can try to install by network, but really we've got to go ahead and put this install this thing on every single computer. So we can do that by network share. Actually, we may not be able to do that since we don't have a password on here yet. Let's see if we can even access. No. Wow. Well, we'll have to do this on every single machine. Normally we should be able to get this off the network, but that doesn't look like it's gonna happen. Not at all. This is something else. Let's try to manage our local machine. What happens if we do that? Well, we have our backup plans. We have storage vaults. Tape management. We don't have tape backup. We have disk management. Mounted images, which we have none. And we have quite a few settings here. Alright, email settings and alerts. As you can see, this is definitely meant for enterprise. Well, we definitely want to deploy. And to do that, we're going to need to copy the installation files and install this software on every machine. Let's go ahead and do that now. I've gone ahead and created a network share on our main hub. And I moved the installation file over there. What I'm going to do now is copy it to every single machine.
do the same here. Start the process of connection. As you can see, the extremely large download is completed pretty quickly over the network. Gigabit network here. Begin the install process on clone 1. And clone 2 and 3 are taking their sweet time. Alright, so what we'll do here is enter clone 0 / administrator. I did enter an administrator password. We'll want to remember that password. Oh, did we? Yep, there we go. Here's our share. We'll copy it over. See if we can do the same on clone 3. And this is a way of accessing network shares when you don't have a server, just so you guys know. I'm sorry. Number of connections are limited when you do use work groups, but they do function properly. And we're moving along here quite nicely. I'd like to see what's going on here. I'm going to execute this software. Going to accept the license agreement again. And we want to install the agent. So back up this machine's data is the only thing we want to do. We're not monitoring anything or configuring anything. We're doing that with our main server, our main machine. And of course we have to enter the keys again. I'll do this on all the machines right now. Okay, here's a very important part. We want to enter the management server's name to link up to the management server. I'm currently on clone 1. We want to make the management server clone 0. We want to make the username clone 0 / administrator. We want to enter the password for that account. Remember, clone 0 is our main machine. We'll agree to the sharing. And the installation process will begin here. As you can see, we have the agent core, the agent, the bootable media builder, the command line tool, the tray monitor, and the management console. I must say this is pretty exciting. For the average user, it probably isn't, but I, for some reason, find this to be tantalating. It's fun. I enjoy this type of thing. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do the same thing here. We're just installing the agent and the backup software. No central management. And let's get set up here as well. There she is. Oh, it looks like we already had her. And we'll set her up here as well. So this is a big to-do. If we're dealing with lots of computers, deploying this out over a network has got to be a pain in the butt. You might as well just go around, in my opinion, and do some backing up with a disk, but or a USB drive. That's my view of it. But this is a centrally managed deal. We'll see how good it does the backup, and we'll see how we go. Okay, on all of our systems here, the installation has completed on all 3 of our clones. We're going to finish. We're going to close the installer in each instance. Why it doesn't close on its own is anybody's guess. Let's try connecting to our main machine. Let's go here and launch the console, the management console. Now this architecture is very similar to the way Windows Home Server works. In fact, Windows Home Server may have been modeled over this. Now let's try connecting to a management server. We know that the name of the management server is clone 0. And we're on clone 0 now. We're connected. We can create a backup plan here. Let's go to clone 0. And we're probably going to want to refresh if we can. Clone 1. There's clone 1, so that's our home machine. Let's go ahead and go here again. This is clone 2. And we'll leave that open real quick. We don't need that open anymore. And by the way, this does disable simple file sharing in Windows XP. We're using Windows XP just because it's easier right now to run off a virtual machine. Running Windows 7, there would be really no big difference. I can guarantee you of that. It's simply a matter of coincidence that this was done in such a way. Now, we're going to want to go back to our hub. We're going to want to connect to all of the machines. Manage a remote machine. Clone 2. Clone 3. Remember, this is a gigabit network. We're not using wireless, but certainly we could. So we have clone 1, we have clone 2, and we have clone 3. Okay? So, can we create shortcuts of these? And how do we do that? Well, we create the shortcut right there, clone 3. And unfortunately, we have to do the connections again. We can go to recent connections, go to clone 2. Mind you, all of these systems have passwords now. We create shortcuts. We go to clone 1. We right click, we create a shortcut. So these are 3 different machines, and they're all hooked up to the local machine, which is clone 0, you say. Now, what we can do when we connect to these different machines is create a backup plan for all of them. We're having a connection error here. No explanation for this. Clone 2. What's wrong with clone 1? Clone 1 simply vanish on us here, or what's going on here? Well, we have clone 1 right here. Clone 1's already connected, maybe that's why, from the user end. And so we don't want that. We want them to not be connected. We want to be connecting from the hub right now. But see, you could be connecting from any of these machines. For some reason we're having difficulty with clone 1. Cannot establish connection. Let's try pinging that connection. Let's try looking up that system. Something's wrong with the network connection here of this machine. It certainly is clone 1. Let's try getting a web connection. Well, she works just fine. Okay, well, we'll close the management console and launch it again. Now, there are many services running in the background, so you have to realize we're using up some memory here. And as a matter of fact, let's look and see how much we're using. We're paging, and we are using quite a bit here. Not as much as we might think, but still quite a bit. Well, this is quite a disappointment that we can't connect to one of the machines. How else are we going to create our master plan? Let's disconnect. We'll try again. Oh, now this is unbelievable for this type of enterprise software that we're having this sort of difficulty here. It really is. Let's see if we can connect to clone 3. Are we having difficulty? Oh, it would appear that we certainly are. We may need to relaunch the management console on the hub. We don't need to be connected, obviously, to ourselves. Well, what we want to do is successfully back up all of these machines from the same interface. This is an unbelievable situation. We have a working network. We have network address translation. There's no reason that this should not work. We're going to try one more time. We're going to use the browse option, actually. And these machines are appearing. They are appearing. And there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to connect to them, unless the services have failed on those machines. Absolutely no reason that this should not work. We have exceptions in Windows Firewall for these systems. We're going to end up restarting all of these machines, and we're going to try this one more time. If not, this software, I wouldn't recommend this software in a production environment. We're on gigabit Ethernet. We have machines that are reliable. They have nothing installed on them. And if this is the case, this review's gone south. Let's restart. Well, I've restarted all of these machines, and I'm able to connect to them again. I can create backup plans, and we'll look at that now. This is disk 1. Where to back up. And we have multiple locations. And I was just looking up data deduplication. You need a 64-bit operating system. It recommends that you don't really use the machine. Avoid database management systems. That would be any system that uses a database, or enterprise resource planning systems. Major disappointment there. We have a Tower of Hanoi backup scheme. That's not something I've ever heard of before. Very complex software here. Convert to virtual machine. That would probably cost additional money here. Let's set up a vault, a centralized vault, a secure zone. Well, for now, let's just create a vault. Call it backups. Call it backups 101. And we'll set a path, won't we? You know what? Let's not set a local path. That's a terrible thing to do. Let's set up an Acronis secure zone on the disk. Size. Let's make it a maximum size. Let's make this our backup server. This will be our secure zone. We're creating it. And that operation is taking place. A restart is required. Did we create the secure zone here or somewhere else? Let's cancel that operation. And let's go back to the local machine and create the secure zone here at the local machine level. We won't use a password, and we'll create that Acronis secure zone. The task has started here, I see. And we have to restart. Fantastic. Well, by restarting, we might as well simply go ahead and run a CD, and we wouldn't have to worry about restarting the system. We would be able to back up our data over a network share using a bare metal backup. This requires the installation of numerous services into Windows. It requires a massive amount of investment in time, in manpower. Imagine doing this to 1,000 systems. It requires rebooting the systems anyway. When we see advertisements saying that we never have to take the system down, this is clearly false indication. Just to create the Acronis safe zone, we have to restart the entire system. Then we're going to see what happens if we try to clone, or if we try to take our clones and use deduplication and back them up. Let's see how that goes. We'll skip ahead. I have to say I am a bit disappointed with this software. It is quite enamoring with all of its features, but after a while it becomes a nuisance here. And we see that yeah, it's doing its thing here. It's moving the partitions around, creating that secure area of the hard drive. We could have also added an additional drive for this to work. But this is going to take some time, and I'll give you an estimate of how long it takes, and we'll be back soon. Or in your case, we'll be back immediately.
We're back again. I can tell you that experience was not fun, although it seemed quite fast. It took about 20 minutes here. We're logging back in. Mind you, we have the secure zone activated. Hopefully this, I know that the secure zone basically backed up everything on the main host system, and that's not really our goal here. So we're having some difficulty using this system in order to back up other systems, which we still have running. So what I'm going to do is connect to clone 1. What's up? Clone 1 lets us connect still. No. Clone 1 is active. It has an internet connection. Clone 2 is active. Try connecting to clone 2. No. Not a chance. And these services are running, mind you. Well, we could write it off as the fact that we're in virtual machine, but these errors consistently appearing are inexcusable. I'm taking a look now. I'm looking at the vault here. The Acronis Secure Zone has files in it. Oh, actually, it's got nothing in it right now. And if only we could connect to our other servers, we might be able to back some stuff up. Let's try using one of the machines to connect directly into the home system, into our hub. The fact that this is in this state is really unbelievable. Let's connect to the management server at clone 0. Oh, well, there we go. We have one way but not the other. Okay, so let's look at machines with agents. Right, we have machines, we have agents. These are agents on the machine. We can tell these things what to do. Can we select multiple machines? No. You know, let's back up everything. Let's back up clone 1. And let's set centralized location. Don't we have the thing we just made? Oh, here we go again. Well, see if we. Oh, what is this? Okay, are we allowed on now? Okay. Oh, we have a network share. Well, that doesn't count as a centralized storage location. I thought that we had store all machines archives in a single location. Well, yeah, we want to store each machine's archive in the secure zone, no? And let's see if this works. Huh? Okay. This is a centralized backup. I guess it's a simple backup. And we'll see if it even starts. Oh. Has it started? Oh, fatal error. Well, this is becoming somewhat of a nightmare, eh? What happened here? That there was a failure. Do we have a log? Oh boy. Command backing up has failed. Failed to open the meta directory. Okay. We'll try that again. Try the location. I was certain we had a centralized backup here, but apparently we don't. Let's look at the dashboard and see what's going on. Yeah, nonsense. That's what's going on here. We'll have to create another vault on clone 0, I think. So that has to be a whole nother machine. That's a storage node. Yeah. Oh. Alright. We'll just call this the vault. Alright. This is going to be a unmanaged. Managed. Where are we going to put this stuff? Oh. This is a confusing endeavor. I can guarantee to you that I'm well qualified to use these services. I know what I'm doing here, and I am at a complete dismay about how this is working. Honestly. So we're talking about a network share. Otherwise, we create a storage node. Oh, it would be clone 0. And we create the vault. No. We want, yes, we want deduplication on. Poor deduplication performance. Oh, that's all right. Oh, we've had poor performance the entire time we've tried using this thing. Where will the data be backed up? In the vaults, damn you. Now, creating the safe zone was absolutely pointless, so we're just going to call this backups. Alright. Authorization has failed. Access to the vault has been denied. Why would access be denied? Oh, now we have access. Alright, so we have the vault for centralized backup. And let's go back to the local machine and try to use our vault. A centralized location. The vault. Here we go again. Clone 0. This is the problem with not having a Windows server, I believe. And of course the Windows Server version, you know, that costs $2,000 or $1,500, whatever. Alright, so we have the centralized thing here. What can we do? Well, we don't want to create another vault. We want to back up the damn computer. This is a major issue here. And it takes a lot of time to learn how to use it. You know, we're trying to back up the entire system here. We're going to use a centralized location. We're going to use the vault. We're not going to use validation right now. Let's see what the backup options are. We're already saying data deduplication. Okay, continue, go. Please work. It started. It finally started. So we have clone 2. I believe it's clone 2 doing a backup. Okay. Now, let's go to clone 1 and try the same process. Imagine doing this with hundreds of computers. It would be an absolute nightmare. An absolute nightmare. This is why, you know, I'm personally looking at technology that's, to me, doesn't look like it's really ready right now. And I hate to put it that way. All right, so we'll back up to the vault again. We know it has data deduplication. what's going on here. It's loading something with the vault. Oh, here we go again. This is something else, I must say. Why it's requesting that password all the time is something else. Let's see what happens. Hopefully we're not overwriting the same backup here. We'll find out shortly. All right, are we going? I'm getting emails now too. I've got a stall here. It is stalled up on us. Oh, it has started, surprisingly. It is running, despite the prior failure. And let's go to machine 3 and see if we can set it up there. Do we want to risk it? Now, let's go back to the main hub, actually. Forget about machine 3, because getting 2 of them to work under these circumstances seems a bit far-fetched. Lovely. I'd like to mention that this has nothing to do with the fact that we're running Windows XP, even though Windows 7 has a more advanced network stack. We're coming in. And let's see what's going on here now. We have the personal vault, the Acronis secure zone, it's not in use, and we have the centralized vault. What's going on in the centralized vault? That's what we really want to know, because we're doing 2 backups in there, remember. There are no centralized vaults. We just created one. We have to refresh this and find out what's going on here. For some reason, this isn't making me feel very good. Mind you, this is an i7 with 4 cores, Extreme Edition. We're at clone 1. We need to be back at our main system. Well, we're not on the right system here. Well, what's going on with our centralized database? Really, what is going on here? Well, everyone, this review is pretty much over. As you can see, this thing's a mess. You want to make quick backups. Go back to the Paragon backup, bare metal backup and restore thing you saw. You want to spend hours playing around with GUIs that don't work and failed ideas like these centralized vaults and stuff, be my guest. But, this is for enterprise, and trying to get 2 computers backed up in it takes hours. What you want to do, if you're in an enterprise environment, look at ESX server and ESXi. There's ways to clone those machines to move the files to different hard drives with virtualization. If you're in an environment with 100 computers, get some technicians out there, do some backups once a month. This is nuts. This is absolutely crazy. We created a centralized vault, and it's telling us that there is no centralized vault. And it could be due to my inexperience with the software, but this thing is an absolute nightmare. What is the deal here? This is a deal breaker for me. We spent a lot of time doing this. I'm sure that the backup works very well when the machine is on, but it will never be as good as a bare metal backup or a bare metal restore. That's the end of this review. I would not recommend this software to anyone, especially not the server version. You do not want to be spending over $1,000 on this thing whatsoever. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. It's based on the experience you've just seen. I know what I'm doing in information technology, and I can't believe what I'm seeing. I'll try this on some real computers instead of virtual machines, and if I notice a difference, I will append this and let people know. But I see nothing here to convince me that this is worth anyone's time. This is a massive money sink, a massive money hole, a massive waste of time. And even if it did work properly, it is extraordinarily overpriced. We've seen connection errors. We've seen the failure of backups to take place. If we look at current activities on some of these machines, we don't, we're hoping that this thing is backing up. We know hopefully the backups will occur. Maybe they'll occur correctly. It's going to take time to find out. Look, it's backing up on clone. I think it's backing up on clone 2. Trying to see the details here of where it's actually backing up. Yeah, the vault, the centralized location that we created. Look, unique data after dedupe. It's all unique, even though these machines are exactly the same. So, what is going on here? Maybe that'll improve, but right now I'm seeing a massive weird situation. I would love for this software to work great, and I may use it in a production environment and see how it turns out. But right now, here's the vault. The vault appeared for us. We'll update the catalog and see what's going on. The vault appears on OneDrive, but not the other. I wonder if it appears, if it's storing it to one of our workstations and not the main machine that's supposed to be backing everything up. I wonder if that's the case. Because if it is, that's really, that's not a centralized location. Well, it is, but it's on the wrong machine, isn't it? And you're led to believe that you're connecting to the proper machine. Let's see what happens here, and this will be the end of the thing. No, it is. It should be back. It's probably backing up to the main machine here, but there's no awareness of it from the console at all whatsoever yet. No awareness that anything is going on. Now, you know what? If I don't want to deal with this, I simply go to my favorite place, Paragon, and I can back up all my stuff right now. I can restart the computer, use a disk, or I don't have to, and it takes a couple minutes, Maybe it'll take an hour, 2 hours if I have a lot of data. But this is just, a whole bunch of folders being fancy, trying to create a data store that you don't need. So thanks for watching this review. I'm sorry I took up so much of your time with these Windows XP machines and this extremely expensive Acronis Backup and Recovery 11. Check out Paragon. I think you'll like it a little bit better, especially if you're not in an enterprise environment with 1,000 computers. And if you are, you probably have more than one person working for you anyway. I certainly hope so. And they would be able to deploy proper backup solutions. Not something like this. This is like, should still be in beta or something. Take care, and please visit us, windows7forums.com. Thanks a lot for watching. This is going absolutely nowhere. Take care.